hello, and welcome to another episode of the Lions Den podcast. A Monday night football. We return on a Monday as we have a very heavy week for Leon. Very exciting. We get to see La Fiera twice in 1 week. This is episode 84. And thank you guys, everybody who's joining us via Facebook. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, Periscope, on Twitter. Let us know your thoughts, your comments, anything you want to let us know about Leon. Drop them on the comment section and we'll share everything live on the screen and we'll keep the conversation going. So, we're here. A lot of noise. Carlos and Louis, gentlemen, how are we feeling tonight? After a victory, Thursday night football, Lou and Javi were there. Very rain, like a lot of rain. Game suspended. How do you guys feel about Leon's victory coming into this week?
I was conservative in my prediction, and I ended up being right. I was the only one who was. So
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Well, none of you guys predicted 1-0. I predicted 1-0. It's on the record.
It is
Nice.
But yeah, I was worried once. Well, I saw rain in the forecast, and it was funny. I was driving there. We were driving there all day, and then we were there several hours before the game in Queretaro. We went and got some food, got in the stadium way early to get the best seats because a lot of the stadiums are not respecting the numeración of the seating right now, just to ensure that they have the social distancing in the stands. And so you got to get there early and get your seats. So we were there. It wasn't raining. And literally, when the opening whistle blew, it started to sprinkle. And I was like, oh, I felt a raindrop. And then 15 minutes later, it was a downpour.
Oof.
And I just had flashbacks pretty much to all the games I've been to where there was heavy rain. And I have very poor memories of almost all of them. And I was like, Leon is historically, especially in recent seasons, a team that does not do well either during the rain or after the rain. It los perjudica mucho, and I was afraid that same story would repeat itself. But to their credit, I mean, I think it's a testament to how this team's really coming together to come back after that. It's about a 25, maybe even 30-minute delay to come out after that, pick up where they left off, and do what they needed to do to pull out a slim victory. I think it shows where this team is going. They're getting more comfortable with each other, and it could mean good things going forward to get a result like that when they never get good results in pouring rain. So, yeah, pretty happy. It wasn't a goleada. We're used to getting goleadas against Querétaro, and especially in that stadium. The last few have been goal fests in our favor. It was not that, but it's a victory that feels just as good no matter what the score is.
I would like to say that it didn't feel that great. Just because obviously the scoreboard, I feel like we had many chances to up the scoreboard. And I feel like we struggled against a Querétaro team that is not a contender. I don't even consider them mid-table. They're like lower third of the table. I don't think we should be struggling this bad against these kinds of teams. But a win's a win. 3 points puts us somewhere in like the top 5, I think, top 6. And the rain. I mean, I'm just glad Querétaro has a good drainage system, because I know if we had been in León, there would have been puddles everywhere. So kudos to La Corregidora.
Yeah, I mean, you got to cut them a little bit of slack, Carlos. Just, I mean, the fact that there was a rainstorm of that quality. You weren't there. I was there. I sat through every minute of it. I did not want to go up and shelter myself under the covered areas of the stadium, which there are a few. I did not want to do that. I didn't want to lose my seats because I knew the game was going to restart. And I sat through that rain. For them to come out after that and play and get any sort of victory on the road, especially, like, you got to cut them a little bit of slack. I think we can't shortchange Querétaro either. Yes, they're not a contender. They're not particularly talented. But, I mean, in their opening match day, they held America to a 0-0 at home. And in match day 2, they went out and got a gutty draw against the San Luis team that looks very good in these opening fechas of the season. They got some decent results out of their first 2 matches, even though nobody expects them to do anything. They're a team that plays in a very intense way. Even if they go for it, even if they don't have a ton of quality. And so to hand them their first loss, I think there's something to be said for that, especially given the conditions. And believe me, though, that rain was no joke. I got completely drenched.
Poncho or umbrella?
I had a rain jacket and okay. rain boots. They're not rain boots, but they're waterproof hiking / snow boots, and pants that were also. I planned ahead for it as much as I could, but I still got absolutely drenched. So that rain was to get any sort of result after that on the road. You cut the guys some slack. I know it should have been a goleada. It could have been a goleada, but it didn't need to be a goleada to be a good win.
Jose, before we go to pregame news and lineup, how did you feel about Leon's victory coming?
I feel like it could have been more, but I think we weren't really sharp. Like I felt, at least from my perspective, that Queretaro had the better chances than we did. They could have at least scored 2-3 goals on us. To be honest, they just weren't sharp enough. But if the defense is still something that we have to work on, obviously. But at least I think after the break that we had from the rain, that benefited Leon more. I feel not right away, but around the 36th minute, I feel like they started to control the game more, and then there were more. There was more vertical plays on both wins, which we didn't really see. I feel like at the beginning of the game, they were having trouble connecting passes or retaining the ball for long periods of time. They will lose it very easily, after two, 3 passes, and either because of mistakes or bad pass. But yeah, I as the match went on, I feel like we got more comfortable, and Leon was more secure on the ball. But we didn't. I don't think we really show anything except for that rebound by Elias, and then he fired his shot to the right post of the Querétaro goalkeeper. But aside from that, I didn't feel like we have flashes of stuff that I like, but nothing that you it's por cantado.
Yeah,
Definitely. Louis, you got Louis was right from your mom. Also, Amy and Jeff in Oregon say hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. Okay, Carlos, are you ready for the pregame news? To give us the lineups and any news we need to know?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it.
So the pregame news, we kind of touched on it last week. Maybe Jose can chime in and give us some thoughts since he wasn't here last week. But Luis Montes suffered a grade 2 tear to his abductor muscle. He's going to be out. And then there was rumors of John Meneses that wants to leave, wants out of Leon. We discussed this thoroughly last week. I don't know if we want to jump into it again, but maybe Jose has something he wants to say. Yeah, those are the 2 points that I had, the pregame points that I had. Jose, any thoughts?
It kind of makes sense of maybe, or I'm not saying that that's what it is, but it will kind of make sense of what the Menaces platform as a late, but I don't think that's the only reason. But yeah, it kind of makes you can kind of connect the dots, but we don't really know what happens in there.
Yeah.
So we can just speculate. But and in regards to Chapo's absence, I think he's gonna be out for at least maybe 4 weeks, up to 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be an absence that we're hopefully, I hope, not gonna miss. But usually when it's Chapo, yeah, we missed it. Uh, I don't know. Like we have so many matches, important matches coming up. Just tomorrow, the League Cup too. It's a knockout match, so I don't know. Hopefully, we can do without him, but it's one of the players can
Hard
kind
to
of
replace.
the reins. Yeah, I hope. Uh, but we're definitely gonna miss him, especially because of there's many fechas coming up that are gonna be tough.
Yeah. Let's move on to the starting lineup. Couple of surprises. I was surprised by Rodolfo Cota starting. I honestly thought, I think everybody else here thought that Vasquez Mayala was going to get the start, but it ended up being Rodolfo Cota. We had Avion, Mosquera, Ramiro, and Tecillo in the back line. Colombato, Jefecito, Omar Fernandez, Elias Hernandez, Angel Mena, and Ormeño, who was very quiet. He didn't really have
Yeah.
an interesting game. What do you guys think? Any surprises?
Mm, I mean, except for Cota, the starting, I don't think so. I think
I
that's what he's
mean,
been.
I had mentioned that I thought they might
Mhm.
throw Colombato right back into the mix in the starting lineup, but I was still a little surprised that they did. Coming back from Japan a few days or really earlier, and they could have gone with someone maybe perceived to be a little bit more match ready, at least in terms of Leon, but they didn't. They went with Colombato, and he didn't have too many standout moments, but I think he was a cumplidor, and it's sure nice to have him back, especially with Chapo out for a few weeks. They definitely don't have exactly the same qualities in their game, but for me, that's the most logical one-for-one substitution that we have available. So it's nice to have that option back.
What do you guys think?
I think you're muted, Carlos.
Yeah, I think he is.
Oh, sorry. I was saying he picked up his first yellow of the season, which is interesting because he was our leading card getter last season, I think.
Yeah, I think
So he has to make sure to be careful because we don't want him to earn that 1 game suspension when it comes to Liga time.
Yeah, that's a maturity thing. He's got to clean that area of his game up. But to his credit, unlike certain people who we won't mention, Pedro Aquino, he doesn't seem to pick up a second yellow or get that straight red as often anyway. So he's got that going for him.
I mean,
Yeah.
we will definitely mention a week rundown of Tigres' debut player who debuted with the red card. But we'll talk about that in a sec. I think, yeah, we were surprised about Cota starting. I think we all kind of were saying Mayala starting. Colombato, like Louis said, just straight coming back, starting, as well as Santiago Ormeño, which I think I saw a funny meme online about when Gigliotti messes up versus when Santiago Ormeño, it's two different levels of criticizing. It's the debut, guys. I mean, what can we expect? I mean, he still has time, so I don't think we should be so harsh online about that stuff. We definitely talked about the Gigliotti last week about how it's just so uncalled for fans to boo him. It's like they have short-term memory. I think Javi said it or something. But yeah, it was definitely a surprise. Now the big question is, did we miss Chapo Montes' game, or did Omar Fernandez kind of live up to a little bit of that role?
I don't think Omar.
He wasn't playing that role.
Omar is, but it's not really. He can't really play that same role on the wing. I mean, he's a winger. He's not. He's not a number. He's not a number 10. He has very creative qualities on the wing, but he's still a winger. You can't feed him the ball on every attacking possession the way you can someone who sticks going through the middle channel. If you go left every time, expecting your left winger to be your playmaker, that makes your offense very predictable. So, I mean, I think we should measure our expectations a little bit of him being our main playmaker. It can't be one guy anymore. It's going to have to be a combination of a bunch of different people. A little sprinkling of Colombato, some Omar, when the ball comes his way. Elias and Mena. See, the thing is, I still don't completely understand how those two are going to coexist in the same lineup. We still have to figure out how that's going to work going forward, because as much as I understand there's a lot of quality between those two, you want to have them both out there in some capacity, but the fact of the matter is they play the same position. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting to see going forward. Obviously, Elias with his big Leon comeback scoring the game winner, and just looking like a guy who's a real leader out there, loves playing for this club, loves wearing these colors, and you got to have him out there, clearly. But having the two of them out there, I don't know. That's confusing. That's a little confusing to me. I just don't know how that's going to work. But it has to be a combination of all those guys out there, making up for the playmaking that we depend so much on Chapo to do.
Yeah,
I think they're very interchangeable on the wings. Are you saying it's not your preferable?
I mean, they're interchangeable, but I don't know. I never saw Elias deployed as a straight left winger, and he's not that either, because Omar Fernandez is our left winger.
So are you saying it's either or? We have to play either or on the.
No, I'm not saying we have to play either or. I'm saying they have to figure out a little bit better how they're going to play together and what their roles are going to be playing together. So I still don't understand that yet.
I don't know. I felt like, at least from my point of view, I feel like Mena and Elias, at least in this game, they weren't that bad, but I felt like Elias did better when he switched to the left wing with and se estaba combinando con Tecillo or Colombato, and then I feel like Omar Fernandez did better when he was with Mena on the other side. Because on the left wing he was trying to mainly like do either like paredes between them and como que no se entendían, or even with Ormeño.
Yeah, even with Ambriz, we talked about this a lot during the Ambriz era, about our calling card in the attack is our interchangeability, unpredictability. I just think it's not fluid yet. We're working in a couple of new guys. We're working in Omar Fernandez. We're working in Elias back in, and it's not always fluid. I think it'll get there though, at least closer to something resembling fluidity than what we've seen so far.
And I think it's different too, because before we just use on the wings like just two wingers, and now it's like two guys that play wingers, but then also on the inside there's usually either one or two guys that also play wingers. So it's like at the beginning of the game it was like Mena on the inside and Elias on the right wing. On the left, it was Omar Fernandez and Colombato on the inside.
And also Tecillo, who has looked great, and you never want to limit his ability to get forward because he looks so good doing it.
I think it was one of the best ones, besides Elias, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, Tecillo was arguably MVP for me in this game. He just looked so great. I mean,
what about Ramiro, guys?
I give it to Ramiro.
Me too. I'm with Carlos.
I give it to Roberto Carlos.
Partidazo de Ramiro.
I feel like he was good, but also I think también tuvo que ver que Queretaro wasn't really sharp on target. Maybe it would have been different if they would have been
because of Ramiro.
But no, he was good though. He had a good game.
And Elias, aside from his goal, which obviously was the game winner, he looked considerably better and more comfortable than he had against Xolos. I didn't think he was sharp at all in that Xolos game. I think he understood his role even less than he did in this one. He was getting a little more comfortable. So props to him too.
Yeah, going back to Omar Fernandez, I feel like he's the one who's been the easiest to integrate with starting 11. Like, he's the one that looks the best out there out of all the new guys in the 4 matches that we've played. 4 matches that he's had under Ariel Holan, like he's the one who looks like he's really working, like something's functioning with him. Whereas you have like Gigliotis, you have like Ormeño, some other guys that we're still trying to work in. They still look rusty. Omar Fernandez is like, he gets it. Whatever it is, he gets it.
I remember there was a true pass that Omar Fernandez was winning for Ormeño, and Ormeño didn't even try to run through it. Like that could have been a 1-on-1 too. Then, yeah, he still looks like he still needs probably a little bit more of minutes under his belt, maybe to understand like how everyone else is playing. I don't know, but we'll see.
Now, I think Carlos had some kind of a hot take. Is it still a hot take? Is it still applicable?
What was my hot take? I don't even remember.
About
what was it?
About Elias sintiendo los colores.
Oh yeah. It is a hot take. Let's roll the clip. Roll the clip.
Let's roll the clip.
So hot take. I said this to you guys last week after the game. I said Elias Hernandez siente los colores more than anyone else on the team except Chapo, obviously, because Chapo's the leader. He's the standard of what it means to be a, Leones.
Yeah.
But then right under him is Elias, and then maybe under him is Fernando Navarro.
I don't think my opinion is gonna count because I'm biased. Because Elias is my favorite player, so I don't think I should comment on this.
Go for it.
No, go ahead. For me,
I think
after Chapo, he's number one always.
Yeah, well, especially now that Nacho Gonzalez has retired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In terms of active players, yeah.
Of course, I think Elias is pretty much like after. There's no controversy there. I mean, unless you're like a humongous Fernando Navarro fan, like there's no controversy there. I think after Chapo, it's Elias, and I think historically top probably 6, along with like Nacho.
Well, I'm just
especially this era.
Players. Just active players.
No, I know active players for sure, but I dare say even of desde el ascenso para acá, like
really?
top 6. Look how many goals he has. Con 10, 15 más alcanza a Gullit, alcanza al Chapo. Give him 2 years of just. I think that's why I said nunca te vayas, aquí te retiras. I think he feels the colors, like you said, more than anybody on the team actively, except for Chapo. So yeah, I agree, 100,000%.
Yeah, I mean before Mena arrived, Leon and Elias left. Elias was right there.
Yeah, he like 30 something.
And all-time scorer since we got promoted. So yeah, I mean he's been definitely contributed a lot since we got promoted to the Liga MX. So
Yeah. La afición lo quiere, so
it'll be interesting to see how much of the game that we remember him having he can recuperar now that he's a couple years older, because he doesn't have the same pace anymore, but I feel like he's just as crafty. Maybe even
he needs the pace.
Maybe even craftier.
Pace, so.
Maybe even craftier with a couple more years of experience.
Yeah.
And
what I remember for him, at least, it was, you said, like, era caracolero, and then he was good crossing, like perfect crossing, 3-point crossing. Like, he still has that. And maybe the speed is not there, but I don't think he needs it to beat defenders.
Yeah.
No, and I think he can make other players better too. I think esos centros que le daba Boselli, I think, watch out Ormeño, watch out Davila, Gigliotti, whoever's up there.
Yeah,
I think that's our weakest point though. But yeah, once he starts doing that, that's what I'm saying, man. Elias the GOAT, man. I like Elias a lot.
Yeah, I'd like to see him try out. I'd like to see him try out that right foot from distance. Like I want to see if he can.
Yeah.
Maybe
he'll do it once in a while, but I don't think you should.
Yeah, well, that's not expected now that he's older.
if they're going to
That's
play
definitely
him,
something he has in his arsenal.
if they're going to play him primarily on the left, then he has a chance to be dangerous cutting in and shooting with the
Yeah.
right. So I'd like to see that too. I actually think he might have more opportunity to do that if they're going to continue to play him on the left.
Yeah.
They're probably gonna keep doing the switching thing with Omar. I like them. I heard what you said, Jose. I thought they both played incredibly well with Castillo. I think Castillo was just amazing. I kept calling him Roberto Carlos Castillo the whole. I'm like, "Man, this guy is amazing. I was with Louis. Like we both thought he was the best player. Ramiro too, Colombato, but Elias con ese goal, you know what I mean, and the way he kind of just started taking control of the left. I thought he was just amazing.
Yeah. I think even when Elias was announced as coming back, I guess, we said not new refuerzo just coming back, but I still count it. It's just him wearing the colors just feels, like the old, glorious Leon. So whenever he scored and kissed the crest, it was just like beautiful scene. Like,
It was
I
legit.
definitely agree with Carlos too, as well as Sanaku says, I agree with Carlos that Elias sí siente los colores más que otros, but we'll just leave it at that. Anything else to kind of quickly wrap up the Queretaro game so we can quickly move on to the meat and the greet of this podcast?
Yes, I want to ask Javier, did he
What?
did he stick it out in the stands and sit in the rain with Louis?
No, he did not.
No,
I mean,
I had a beer and I was smoking a cigarette, and Louis was like going to be out there. I'm like, that's cool, bro.
You're
I'm
smoking
not
a
gonna.
cigarette when it was pouring? You could do that?
Yeah. No, but I had to go back to the.
how is that
He went-
possible? Like, bro,
He went and hid under the overhang.
Yeah,
no
'cause I was smoking. I had my beer, and I didn't bring a jacket. Louis had a jacket. I
We
didn't
all
have
told
anything.
you. He told you the forecast
Nah,
was
but
heavy rain.
it doesn't matter. Even if I did have a jacket, I wasn't gonna sit there. No me hace más hincha o menos hincha. That's ridiculous. I was
I
gonna just
messaged
drink my beer.
I messaged you specifically when we were ironing out
No,
the
but I
details
was-
for our trip. I messaged you specifically and told you to prepare for rain.
I said even if I did have a jacket, I wasn't gonna sit there. I was gonna drink my beer and smoke my cigarette, have a good time. Not care if I get wet. Como dije, no te hace menos hincha o más. You can sit out in the rain. That's fine, bro. I was gonna drink my beer happily, smoke my cigarette, and just be like, are they gonna suspend the game or not? I was actually like trying to get information, trying to talk to like the police dudes. They were telling me they were.
Yeah, and I told you they didn't know
Louis yelled.
anything. I told
He's
you
like,
they didn't know
"They don't
anything.
And I'm
And
like,
of
dude,
course, I was
chill."
right. I was right. They were
Yeah.
completely wrong.
Yeah, but again, it wasn't about being right or wrong. I just said, well, that guy just said they're just probably gonna, suspend the game. And you're like, they don't even know. And I'm like, bro, chill. It's gonna be all right. It's just rain. Like everybody was dripping. I just thought like I was having a good time. I was just like, I want to get quesadillas. If this does get suspended, I'm gonna eat my quesadillas because
those
that's
And
the
do you
thing,
want
bro.
to send a
That's the
shout
thing,
out
bro.
to the
Yes,
quesadillas out front?
Yes, Louis. Like I don't know what it is, but that queso, bro. Like lo que le pusieron. Well, Louis knew. Louis knew that I had a problem with eating for a while, and I had lost my appetite, and like I was throwing up a lot of my food since I got there. So he saw right away, I was even telling him like, dude, Louis, I'm happy because I'm eating. He was like, dude, I'm happy, bro, because I saw you were eating like a couple of quesadillas, and it had been like almost a week that I had lost my appetite, and I wasn't feeling so well. But yeah, that's why I really, I want to stress those quesadillas. They brought me back to life, and God bless.
He got a couple before we went in, and then he got a couple more when we came back out.
Yeah, that was crazy. I'm like,
When you
dude.
get a chance during the pod, send me the video so we can share it to all the viewers so they can see what kind of quesadillas you were talking about because the salsas look really bomb. So
Yeah.
Worth
the trip? Did the quesadillas make the trip worth it?
Yeah, because like even Louis, when we were gonna eat at his was it Thai food?
Thai?
I went to this. It was like a Middle Eastern buffet before the game.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, I can't wait to get there to eat. And when I got there, I'm like, dude, I have no appetite. Like it was just like crazy, man. But whatever, gracias a las dueñas de las quesadillas ahí en Querétaro, fuera de la corregidora. Las quiero mucho. I like legit. I kept telling him, like, oh, I love you guys. I love you guys.
Well, I'm glad he had
And thank you, Louis, for waiting for me. Because he was like,
Yeah,
you gotta
man.
go, bro. Like,
No,
you got
no.
home like at 2 in the morning.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was already a late start. It started at 9 p.m. and then there was a half-hour delay, and then there was
Oh my god.
a log jam trying to get out of the parking lot. So we didn't get away from the premises of the stadium probably until shortly after midnight, and then it's about a 2-hour drive back to Guanajuato. So, yeah, you do the math.
2 hours, great.
Well,
But it was worth it, bro.
Had a good
We
time.
won. And Louis got his prediction right.
Yeah.
did.
He's like
2 weeks in a row.
Mystic,
2 weeks in a row.
Mystic Matt. He's Mystic Louis.
Well, Louis winning the prediction.
Nice.
Quiniela. Yeah. If we had a quiniela, I'd be winning.
Shoot, might as well start.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, let's go to move on just quickly to the week 3 rundown of Liga MX, starting off with our matchup against Queretaro as we won 1-0, as discussed in this podcast. Mazatlan versus Monterrey drew 1-1.
Good game.
Huh?
I said good game. I was watching it.
You watched the game?
Yeah, it was good. It was a good game.
Nice. Necaxa losing to Cruz Azul. I did watch that game. 2-1. And did you guys watch the Xolos versus Toluca game?
Yes.
I did not see the whole game.
They kept repitiéndolo cada rato en Fox Sports 2.
I saw Sambuesa's goal, which was just amazing.
God.
It made me want him back even more.
Yeah.
His goal and then Dedos' Lopez goal was really good. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Golazo del Dedo López. Golazo del Dedo López. Ya lleva dos, ¿no?
La sorpresa so far, or what?
Yeah. I think Toluca might be top 3, I think.
No, but so
They're playing
far,
well.
like in 3-4 matches, like, son la sorpresa?
No, I'm not that surprised. No, the sorpresa is San Luis for sure.
Yeah.
And even
And
Mazatlan.
Even Mazatlan. Like
San Luis and
San
Mazatlan are the
up
sorpresa.
there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Damn,
those are
we
the
got
sorpresas.
Mazatlan next.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game, guys. That's gonna be a good game.
Definitely. Chivas 2-2 draw versus Juarez. Strange game, but Chivas was able to get a draw.
Yeah, our boy Chuy Godinez getting the game tying goal at the
Did you
at the
guys
end.
see that?
They leave
Yeah.
and they score. Oh, okay.
I know.
I was so hoping for Juarez to pull that off because Juarez has looked awful this tournament. So if they had gotten that 2-1 win at Chivas, I would have been one happy camper. But still, the 2-2 draw for Chivas is not a good result.
And then Chivas fans would be like really, really, really like, fuera, whatever, like they would.
They already were.
losing their
There was
mind.
some chance of Fuera Vucetich in the stands.
We'll see if things turn around with their Olympico.
I'm sure
I
they
don't think
want.
they're going to qualify. I don't think they're going to qualify.
If they can't get their beloved Almeida back, then I'm sure they'll try to get Jimmy Lozano.
Of course they will. Like something mediático that doesn't make sense.
Are you
to
getting
them.
ideas, Lee?
What is that?
Are you talking to El Hijo de Jorge Vergara?
Yeah.
No,
but-
no.
Yeah.
No,
you,
but I'm
you
sure.
did talk to Rodrigo Fernandez. You did talk to Rodrigo Fernandez.
Yeah, we talked to Rodrigo Fernandez, and you
You
told
talked
him
to
lies
Rodrigo
about
Fernandez.
me. Yeah, and you told him lies about me.
I just said quickly, I just said, oh, si sabes que le va a la América en secreto. And he was like,
Yeah.
Why
no,
would
he
you
believed you,
say
bro.
that?
no, I was
He
joking around.
believed you, bro.
It was so, no, he didn't believe me. He had a heart attack. He was like, no, there's no way that's possible. No, es puro verde, Portland y León. No puede ser. And I'm just like, I'm just playing, man. Of course. Why would you
At
think we're
first he
American?
believed you. If he said he doesn't know you, so he's gonna
Like
take
2
you at your
seconds.
word.
Yeah, that was the weird part. Like, he doesn't know who I am at all. Like, I'm like, dude, that's what I do. I joke around like every 5-10 seconds. I can't help it.
Eventually,
I
we
was
set the
serious.
record straight. But he was telling lies about me at first. I did not appreciate it.
Oh, dude, all I said was that. Like,
Left him in
I
the
didn't know what to say. It was like dead time. Like it was like 3 seconds and no one said anything. So I was like, le va la
Well,
América.
he was asking me if I was going to make the trip to Kansas City, which sadly I will not be. But we were talking about the Leagues Cup and about the semifinal. The semifinal. Oh, this is inside information for you, Cody. The semifinal. If Pumas beats New York City and Leon beats Sporting Kansas City, then the semifinal will be somewhere in Texas.
Texas. Coming from Rodrigo
Yeah,
Fernandez.
that's coming from the horse's mouth.
So
And
I
he
don't
also,
I don't think it'll
he
be.
also-
I don't think it's a secret. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said anything.
he
But
also said,
There you go.
Louis, are you going to go to the game? And you said, no, man, there's no way. And he said, bueno, ¿de qué trabajas? No quiero saber ¿de qué trabajas? Este año,
No.
he was like telling
he didn't
did,
ask me
dude.
that. He knows what I work at.
He was telling everybody, he was like, en todos los partidos te van a Jamaica, está en Jamaica. I'm like, damn, yes, he's kind of right, Louis, It's kind of true. He's like,
Yeah,
he
and then
did say that, I did say that.
And I told him if we make it to the final in Las Vegas, then I will for sure be there.
Yeah.
But we had a nice little chat with Rodrigo Fernandez, Director Deportivo.
Guy. Really nice guy. That's what I was going to say about him. That's a shout out to that guy. Just because because you could tell there's not fake at all. Like, he talks to everybody, every single person that's out there that makes those trips. Like he has like those little candid conversations with everyone. I think he takes his time with everyone. So yeah, he's a cool dude, and he's always talking to Louis about some secret information that Louis never wants to share until like last minute.
I think Javi should switch his segment to just the shout outs segment. Already a shout out. La de las quesadillas.
That's it though. That's it. No more shout outs for the rest of the season.
Shout out to la doña de las quesadillas.
I used up all my shout outs already.
We'll definitely come up with something for you. With that, we did talk about Chivas tying 2-2 to Juárez. Shout out to Chivas del Norte, all the Chivas hermanos going through the pain. Les mando un abrazo. America beating Puebla 2-0, and speedy recovery for the youngster because that was a terrible injury from his ankle. He tore his ligaments. He'll be out for months.
And who replaced him when he had to come out? None other than Pedro Aquino.
How's he not starting?
Not starting.
Because he's a walking red card.
Solari doesn't like him.
You should be the black card for the Olímpicos. Like, show the black card. No, I mean, it's all fun and games.
He's a walking red card, just like Javier's the walking encyclopedia.
Literally.
No, I can't be an encyclopedia because I'm always theorizing and like reconstructing my ideas. You see how I do? Like I'll be talking to you about some history stuff, and then like
you have a lot of knowledge.
You got a lot of concrete knowledge in there as well.
You are an encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Like mentioned earlier in the podcast, Tigres and Santos drawing 1-1, debut for the Frenchman that debuted with the red card.
And yet Tigres managed to pull out the draw at the very end there, with the much maligned Carlos Salcedo getting the game tying goal.
We're not gonna talk about Salcedo. I have issues against him. Louis mentioned Luis victory over Pumas 3-1, and then in a couple of minutes, Atlas and Pachuca will be playing tonight to end the week 3. Guys, let's go ahead and move on to the Leagues Cup preview versus Sporting FC.
City.
Tomorrow's matchup, 7:00 Central, 5 Pacific, and 8 Eastern.
No, 8.
And so guys, I guess something that I kind of left out from our preview for this, but what players should Sporting be on the lookout for, Leon?
Should Sporting be on the lookout?
Yeah. Like what dangerous players does Leon have that like Sporting to kind of keep an eye on?
I mean,
Roberto Carlos Tecillo, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, I think Tecillo's a good choice because they don't deal with backline players like that on a regular basis in Major League Soccer. It's just a fact. It's a fact of life. MLS clubs, I'm suffering with it with my Portland Timbers right now. MLS clubs do not invest in quality defensive talent. There's just not enough. In a salary cap league, there's not enough money to go around for that. They have all the investment is in attacking players. So I think they could get a little shell-shocked by seeing a player of Tecillo's caliber on both sides of the ball starting at left back, which I assume he will. But yeah, he would be number one choice for me. I think Colombato is also a sleeper choice in this case. I think his quality could really shine through. You'd love to have Chapito there. You don't see playmakers like that in MLS that often either. He's not going to be there though. But I think Colombato, sort of taking that number 10 role, could be a threat. And then I think Ormeño gets on the score sheet in this one. I think he's got a real shot to get on the score sheet in this game.
Nice.
Okay. Convocatoria of all the players. We have a lot of midfielders. I think until I look at it on paper, it's crazy. But what are we thinking of possible lineup? Are we still thinking of possible repetición versus Queretaro? Are we going to modify? What are we thinking?
It's interesting. I feel like this game is coming on the perfect day. We played so early in the jornada. We played Thursday, which is, there's never games on Thursday. So Thursday all the way until Tuesday, I feel like that's a pretty good layoff. And then they don't play again until Saturday. So I feel like there's no reason not to go with a first choice lineup here. The interesting thing, though, is all the jóvenes that they took with them. Did they take them with them just to be turistas, or are they actually planning on playing them in the game? I think that's the real question.
I don't think they're going to play them. I think it's
I think it's just to fill the roster.
Yeah, just to fill the roster, just in case something happens. I would love to see Armando Leon get some minutes, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's a one-off game. You want to play your best players, and I think we have. I hate to say it, but I think Giglioti's probably going to. He's probably going to get called in before Armando Leon. But Ormeño, I hope Ormeño.
I thought you said he was going to start.
No, I hope Ormeño starts, but I don't know.
I think he's going to repeat.
He kind of came off hobbling against Querétaro. So
who did?
Ormeño. He's holding his lower back.
That's what I was going to ask. Is he all right?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. So we'll have to see. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays off the starting 11.
I haven't seen anything about him training por separado or anything like that. I haven't heard anything. So hopefully it was just.
And
hopefully it was just a little sore after playing, getting his first start and playing more minutes than he had all season so far.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, probably just because, like I said, the layoff between the last game and to this one and before the next one, it couldn't have come at a better time compared to Sporting Kansas City, who played on Saturday, got a 0-0 draw against the Fighting Yarbrough and the Colorado Rapids. And so it's a quick turnaround for them. That could play a factor in this game, I think, also.
And I think it's worth mentioning that I didn't know this because I don't really watch MLS, but I just looked it up. Sporting KC is number one. They're first place in the conference. So
they are.
What we're talking about? Who did they beat?
If you add it,
they beat LAFC. They beat LAFC 4-1 in Los Angeles at the Bank. Worthy of mentioning that LAFC team, the current LAFC team, is nothing close to the dominant MLS club that we're used to. They've been playing very poorly, and Sporting Kansas City's form has been very inconsistent. Either they are topping the table in the Western Conference, but they've been very inconsistent. They followed up that win at Los Angeles with a 2-1 home loss to a rather pitiful FC Dallas side, and just got a 0-0, a scoreless draw at Colorado. So they're coming off a draw. They're coming off a scoreless draw and a loss. So their form, despite topping the table, has not been great.
They're not pulling Dios, okay? They're going to be a very, very scary team, guys. Okay, no more underestimating
No, they're scary.
Teams.
I'm talking about
Every
their
time
current
we underestimate these MLS teams that beat us.
I'm talking about their current form. Just because they're topping the table doesn't mean they're on great form.
Pulling Dios. That's not even I just think he might be a factor.
He said in his press conference que hay que aprovechar que León no está tan entonado con el nuevo técnico.
That's true. Yeah, his comments were rather stupid, though. I'm just gonna come out there and say that. Well, also, of course, he's gonna be the one they interview because he's the one who has lots of Liga MX experience. It's not to say that any of the rest of his team or the coaching staff has any idea what León is all about. Like they criticized Leon for underestimating or not understanding MLS opponents, and some people took his comments to mean that Sporting Kansas City has us very well studied and we're very well analyzed, and they're going to come out ready for us more than we are for them. Well, if you go just based off of Alan Pulido's comments for that, I mean, I think that's not very reliable. Of course, they're going to talk to him. He's the Mexicano, and he's the one who's played in Liga MX. He's the only one who knows anything about Leon. And even then, his comment was pretty dumb about how they haven't no arrancó de la mejor manera. They're coming off they've won their two out of their first 3 league games, and they're in the top positions in the table. Yeah, they lost their first game, if that's what you mean, and they lost the campeón de campeones, but this is a team that's considerably more comfortable with one another, with itself than they were in those matches. Like you can't really compare it anymore.
Against Queretaro, I was like, yeah, this team tiene una idea para jugar.
Are we better? Maybe Louis can answer this because he follows MLS. But are we better on paper? Are we the better team on paper?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Leon would be better on paper than any MLS club, even the very best.
I'm gonna clip that.
On paper, obviously, that there's a very large asterisk that goes at the end of that statement because their success against MLS opposition, as of late, has not been good.
Yeah.
So there's a big asterisk after on paper, but on paper, yes, of course, they have the far better squad. Absolutely. There are three or four players on SKC we should be looking out for. Pulido is obviously the big name. You also have Daniel Shaloi, Hungarian international, dangerous goal scorer. Tim Melia in goal has been one of the best goalkeepers in MLS over the last few years. I'm imagining he will make 2 or 3 big saves in this game and may end up being a factor, and we may end up seriously lamenting our lack of finishing because of his big saves. And then I would have said Gianluca Busio, U.S. international, who was a big factor in the Gold Cup and all that. We won't get into it, but he just got sold to Europe.
You always say that, bro. You always mention it.
Well, I have to mention him in that context because he got big minutes. He got big important minutes in the Gold Cup, and he plays for Sporting Kansas City, but not anymore. He got sold to Europe, so he won't be there. Yeah.
Nice.
So on paper, Leon does look like the better team. So back to the question, lineup, Cota, is that what we're saying?
Yeah, Cota's gonna play.
I would assume so.
Cota?
Yeah. I mean, I still don't think he's ready.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel that.
I thought he looked kind of good, but yeah, Mellado, I think.
Yeah, I still feel like Mellado was like he's the one that's on form, bro. Like, why would you ruin that?
Play against Mazatlan, maybe. Although that's the thing, I thought he was gonna play against Querétaro. So when I saw Cota, I was like, oh, so maybe Mellado's gonna play against Kansas. Then I'm seeing it's gonna be Cota. So now I'm like, then I hope he plays against Mazatlan because I'm with you, man. I think he has this great rhythm. Why ruin it? You know what I mean? Like, for sure, I think he's gonna play against Mazatlan, right? There's no way. I mean, I know the goalie no se cansa tanto. It's not like any other player on the roster.
They're not going to be worried about
you know what I mean?
About an excessive minutes dosificando el plantel in terms of the goalkeeper. I fully expect Cota to start. I think Holland's comments about the goalkeeper situation when asked were pretty clear. Vázquez Mellado has been good, but Cota's a seleccionado nacional. He's going to play.
Yeah, but I mean that doesn't make sense, man. Like you're looking at Vázquez Mellado.
I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm just saying, to me, the comments made by Holland about the goalkeeper situation were clear.
Oh man.
I mean, I feel about Vázquez Mellado because it's not good, to be honest. But that's what you gotta live when the coach, prefers someone else over you.
Yeah. Oh well.
Backline.
Ramiro. It looks like he's preferring Mosquera.
Yeah.
Over Barreiro.
See, that
Barreiro is completely fallen out of favor.
No, I think Barreiro.
I would like Barreiro way more, but it looks like Olan does prefer Mosquera.
I don't think he favors him right
Senako,
now.
if you're listening, Senako, he just commented. What do you think of a center back duo? Because I don't feel safe with Mosquera. I'm sorry.
Me
I
either.
know.
Me
I love
either,
his
Valentin,
heart.
Kari.
He has a
what he
beautiful
favors.
heart, but
He's a great
Que Dios
player.
lo
Like
bendiga. Pero
he's out there like really giving it
Yeah, like,
110%.
he
hustling.
puts 200%, but
Yeah,
then he does those, you know,
Childish mistakes,
those
and
He's like
blunders.
he had
defending
these
like
mental
this.
hiccups
Yeah.
in very important moments of the match. Yes. No, man, and it's not been one or two or three or four. It's been like 5 or 6 times. You know what I mean? So I'm glad Ramiro came back. I'm glad because he's really owning, especially if I hope and we see more of the CEO on the left because I do think the CEO owns that left and I like that duo. Well, even though we haven't seen it, I would like to see Barredo and Ramiro way more over Mosquera. I
Okay.
just don't no confío in Mosquera. I'm with Kari. I feel bad
But
for him,
Raiders,
but
I don't know. He's gonna have to get his get back his place in the lineup, but get Holland to put him back in the lineup because I mean we want him there, but I don't know
incluso en
what.
tiros de esquina se ve más peligroso Barreiro.
Mm-hmm.
Hasta como peinándola, and I think we've seen him en la táctica fija, and I think he does better than Mosquera.
He
Mosquera on the
does.
other side, he makes these mistakes specifically in táctica fija when it's like faltando like a couple of minutes before the game ends, and send tiro de castigo from the other team, and he like makes a penalty like in
You know
the
what?
area box.
Now that I think about it, because Holland like somehow prefers seleccionados, I actually think Ozri's gonna start in left
he's
back,
almost like
and you're gonna.
Ronaldo.
Oh, he's not
and,
going.
and have to see.
Is he?
I
I
don't
didn't
think so.
look.
Wait,
Oh no, he
against
is. He
Kansas?
is.
Yeah,
Sorry,
against
he
Kansas.
is.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's
Yes.
gonna start
I have
left
the
back,
list
and
right
Tecillo's
here.
gonna start center back. So it could be Tecillo
Okay.
and Ramiro center back.
It's just that I
Mm,
want to keep calling him Roberto Carlos Cecillo. That's the thing. I don't want
Roberto
to.
Carlos.
I don't
See
I
him.
don't see Osby starting,
I
but I
don't
could be
think
wrong.
Olsby's gonna get thrown in to start in this game. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Maybe he's
It's
like
like
a super sub.
the
No, I don't
He
coach
could
think
be a
so.
super
surprised us so
sub where
far.
Cecillo moves in the center. He could be a super sub. Maybe.
Yeah, I
Puede
mean
quitar a
I
un
mean
central.
if
Puede quitar a Mosquera. Yeah, Mosquera. Yeah. Get out of here. Pones a Osby. You scoot over Tecillo. Because if he's going to be like preferring these players, then yeah, I can see Osby as a super sub. But I like Tecillo so much as a left back.
yeah,
I
I mean
just think he owns that.
so far he's been one of the best players in this 3
Es que entiende
games.
mucho cómo triangular, like with Elias and
Mm-hmm.
Omar. I saw that with both of those players. Like
Se entiende
he's
muy
really
bien.
good at. Yeah, he knows how to play that position really well. We're talking about the difference between him and Jairo. Is that maybe Jairo encaraba más, he was more atrevido, whatever, but Tecillo is more secure and he's more intelligent. He's more in no hace una de más. Like if he knows he's got a center in that moment. So I prefer that sometimes more over una de más when I think the game isn't supposed to be read that it's not that difficult sometimes, And él sabe llegar y sabe regresar. So I like him a lot as a left back. But Osby, I can see him too playing. I mean, I don't know. It's probably like the same situation with Ormeño and Gigliotti and Davila. He's going to prefer maybe one player one day and then the next day the other player is going to start. I don't know.
I feel like he could have started, but I don't think it's safe to start him now because he hasn't started yet under Holland, and I don't know he knows what to expect from him when he starts him. I don't know. I feel like he's gonna play it safe and just start to see you there.
Could be a possible scenario.
Interesting.
Sanaku regarding Kota said, I am sure Kota was tired of being a bench warmer during the Gold Cup and is looking to play.
Yeah, he probably came back really mad too. Yeah. No, there's no way. He's probably telling Olan, you better make me titular. Everybody says it, que es muy enojón. Everybody says he's muy enojón. Everyone.
Okay, what about midfield?
Jefecito Colomba.
Yeah, Jefecito Colombato.
Colombato. Okay.
They're looking really good.
They're looking good. Jefecito's looking really good this season
Yeah,
for some
we were
reason.
we're talking about that, huh, Louis?
At least within the last two games that he has actually played where donde se debería de jugar, you know, like as a
Así como
left back.
debe.
Yeah.
He's just doing his job, you know.
So far.
So far.
Yeah.
Let's see how he measures up with the bigger opposition.
Yeah. Wings. Are we seeing a repetición de Diana's Medina? Did Meneses get to play?
No, I don't think
Another one of
Meneses
those.
will start.
I don't think.
Look how quickly we just demoted Meneses.
Dang. I
Like,
think
nah,
he
I don't think he's
might
not going to start.
I can see Meneses and Elias starting, but I can see anything. You know, I can see Omar also starting definitely over not Elias, Meneses. I don't know. Maybe against Mazatlan, inicia Meneses. Right now, I think we can all agree that Omar looks way better, and so does
Yeah.
Elias.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather que Omar se acople to the sistema of Holland than
Yeah.
you know.
Good point.
Yeah. I feel confident with that trio with Omar, Elias, and Mena.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just need more time playing together para que se entienda.
Well, like all three of them are veteranos. They understand how to play at this level.
So are you saying Omar plays behind or just leave him as a...
He could be a wing.
It's probably a
I think
winger.
Pero que se mete mucho también, like, you know, with when he was on the left with the CEO, I did see him, you know, he podía desbordar, but I could see him, you know, him and Elias. Remember, like, back when Loboa and Burbano would switch? Like, I was hoping that could be more of the case, like constant switching, just depending, attacking while, because, you know, you can just tell sometimes which side is está más vulnerable. You know, not every team is always going to be the same, you know, from one side to the other. I did want to mention that left back has never looked more dangerous, though. I think historically Leon has always looked more dangerous on the right. But I think that left back, just if you put the CEO there, el que sea, man, Elias, Omar, Meneses, they're all going to shine. I think they're all going to shine. I think the CEO is very... Está en un buen momento, so I mean I don't want to jinx it no more. So Roberto Carlos Tecillo, please, man.
Like Javi's love for the podcast was Tecillo the whole podcast today.
I give him a 10.11.
Okay. So is it safe to say we're ready for prediction for tomorrow's matchup?
Yes, against Kansas, yes.
Let's go to prediction time. Brought to you by Louis El Firo Viajero. Waiting for an updated version of this.
I know. I'll get around to it.
So let us know what your prediction is. Share with us, and we'll go ahead and go on prediction time.
Prediction time, prediction time, prediction time, prediction time, prediction time, prediction time.
It's prediction time. Let's go ahead and go with Javi. Javi, one shot.
Okay.
Prediction for tomorrow's match.
I always give you one shot. I haven't changed. I mean, you guys are judging me for something I did 3 seasons ago.
I appreciate it with one season.
I think I'm gonna go crazy here, guys. It's gonna be a crazy, crazy, crazy game. I want to see lots of goals. I know it's just great. Look, I might get it wrong. I don't care. You know, me voy a morir con esta. I want
My heart, bro. My heart.
Gana la Fiera 4-3, like a partidazo.
What in the world?
Partidazo.
What?
Javi,
Where?
Javi, are you here? Like, are
you okay?
I
think you had too
think
many
that's gonna
quesadillas.
happen. I think it's gonna be un partidazo. I think all the players that we need to score are gonna score. That's what I'm hoping. I think if they make a statement against Kansas City and just beating them 1-0 como sea, anímicamente they're gonna come back. I think, you know, better than ever, because I think, you know, losing against Cruz Azul and Campeón de Campeones, and then of course I don't want to talk about it again, but you know, the Toronto and the other game. I think que muchos de los jugadores que hoy están en el equipo tienen esa espinita. They know they got to beat this MLS team. It's a one game, so it's kind of different than every other game against Toronto or MLS team. So I think if they do win and they win in a spectacular form, which is what I want to see, they're gonna have a really, really good season. Motivated, like they're gonna beat Mazatlán, Santos, America. Like I think that's maybe not all of them, but they're definitely gonna start playing.
This game,
motivational.
Javi.
That's what I'm saying. Like you guys
Tomorrow.
are asking me why 4-3, because I think anímicamente.
But you're
what I
saying
could
we're
see
gonna
from
get
them-
scored on 3 times?
Yeah,
So
because I don't think
we're
our
gonna
defense.
score 4.
If all right, so who are they going to play in La Central? We're all saying that Mosquera might be there, right? Most likely,
Yeah.
and we're all saying that we
Yeah.
don't trust them, right? So that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. They're going to score on us, especially this really good Kansas City team. I
That's
think they're
not
really good.
nice.
So you think if we want to win,
man.
we got to score 4?
Yeah, I think que va a ser bien apretado. I think it's going to be hasta el final, gol de último segundo. Like that's what I'm saying, 4-3. It could either be like 2-2, 3-3, or whatever. But I don't think it's going to be like 5-0. You know what I mean? Like, no como la juvenil de hoy. I think it's going to be more parejo.
With or our record against MLS teams, no.
Yeah. So I think it's be like 4-3. That's mine.
4-3. I'm gonna need to time you, Javi. You're taking too long for your prediction.
Well, you guys are questioning me, and I gotta defend myself. I gotta go. Hey, you know what? This is what I think about it.
Sanaku said Javi going strong. Javier predicts a 4-3 in tomorrow's matchup. I'm gonna go Louis and then Jose after. So Louis, what is your prediction?
I've been going pretty conservative this season, and I'm not going to break that trend yet until I've seen our ability to finish a little bit more consistently. But I think we're going to get a 2-1. KC's not going to get held scoreless at home, but they're going to come in tired, and it's really going to depend a lot on how badly they want this game, how badly they want to be in this competition. I mean, the same could be said for Leon as well, even though our guys are coming out and saying the right things. Ramiro saying, yeah, we have a deuda en torneos internacionales, and Ormeño really wants this too. Like, these guys they're saying the right things. We'll see if it actually factors into the way they play. But yeah, KC on short rest, I think they just had this. They just played an MLS on Saturday, and they come in, it's Tuesday. We already have to play again in this weird tournament against this weird team we don't know very much about. I mean, I think that's going to be I hope that's going to end up being a factor. Leon's going to come in pretty well rested. They flew in a day earlier even to Kansas City than what you might expect for something like this, to get acclimated, to get accustomed, to get comfortable. I think they're going to come out and play well. I think they're going to come out and play well enough to get a modest 2-1 win that puts them through the semifinals. And I think they're going to break at least for the first round of this Leagues Cup, they're going to break the curse of not beating MLS competition in a long time, ever, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Louis going a very conservative this season. We'll see if it continues, but he predicts a 2-1 win tomorrow night. Jose.
Okay, so
Jose, you have plenty of time.
It's gonna be a 2-1, and I feel that it's not gonna. I wish we would get a clean sheet, but I don't think we are, because we are going against the first team in the the Western Conference in MLS. So I mean, they're there for a reason. Whether they're inconsistent or not, that they managed to get consistent enough to be first in the Western Conference, and I think they're second overall. So it's not just any team we're going up against. And hopefully some of the guys or Meño hopefully gets one in. Maybe I feel like Elias is gonna be in there too, because he's the one that's looked the best so far. And yeah, I think we're gonna win, but I think hopefully break, like he says, the course, but only in the U.S. because we have already been in Mexico before.
Okay. Interesting. Chat, give us your prediction. Carlos.
I'm going to go very conservative the polar opposite of what Javier said. I'm gonna go 1-0 Leon. I don't know, man. I feel like it's gonna be one of those games where we struggle, we get one in early, and then we just defend, and we try to play on the counter. I'm not gonna say I feel confident because given our history with MLS teams and given our history playing on U.S. territory, not just MLS teams, but even Liga MX teams, it's gonna be very. I'm gonna have a lot of heart attacks tomorrow, but we're gonna get out of there with the win. 1-0. 1-0 Leon.
1-0. Carlos Armenian said Leon 2-1, and Sanaku agrees with Carlos with a very conservative 1-0 victory. I'm gonna go with a 2-0. I'm trying to be hopeful that we have a clean sheet tomorrow. Hopeful. Could be, like Louis said, this could be the redemption of advancing another stage that we have not been before. I kind of wanted to go 3-1, but I was like, come on, Gotti, you can't do that. Let's take it down a notch. So I'm going with a 2-0 victory. So I think Elias scores and Ormeño as well.
Yeah, I hope, please, I hope we advance because, guys, like, it feels depressing with the weird kind of like already like it's barely advancing to a semifinal and we don't feel very secure.
And both of the times, as the resident MLS follower here, both of the times that my Timbers advanced to MLS Cup, they did so through dramatic eliminations of Sporting Kansas City. So I hope that Sporting Kansas City elimination trend continues. Obviously, Leon on the other end this time, but for a third occasion.
It'll be dramatic.
Yeah.
It will be dramatic. The other League Cup games. Also tomorrow, the Sounders versus Tigres, straight after the
Oh, man. I don't even know who to root for in that one.
Then on Wednesday, New York City versus Pumas, like mentioned earlier, and Orlando City versus Santos for Liga MX teams. For other Liga MX fans, if they're actively watching, those teams will have a game this week. I guess we don't give a prediction versus Mazatlan, right? It's kind of not really.
Well, we're probably not going to do another show before that game, or are we?
Should we?
Should we?
Should we do a preview?
Can we?
Yeah.
Can we do this?
Probably pull in like 20-30 minute segment.
Yeah, well,
all right.
We'll let y'all know.
Right.
So let's just save it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just save it. But yes, so thank you, Sanaku and Carlo, for sharing your predictions with us. Happy to hear that a victory is also in your hopeful plans, put it that way. Thank you for everybody watching us via Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. Guys, don't forget tomorrow's matchup. If you're working and you can't watch the game for whatever reason, make sure to follow at Club Leon in English, keeping you updated with live tweeting during the games, especially if we score. You want to see the goal. Don't forget to follow them on Twitter. They'll keep you updated. Keep on the lookout for our tweets, as we also are always live tweeting. Louis will not be in that game, unfortunately.
I will not.
But
man.
He'll be rooting from.
We'll be at the final, though.
You what?
We'll be at the final.
Well, yeah.
We'll be there.
Do whatever
I
have to be at the final if there is a final.
Me, Louis, Jose, and Javier. And
I'm not
Gotti
against that, bro.
And Gotti, she wants to come.
That's Allegiant Raiders Nation Stadium. I can't. That'll be epic. Oh my god. Yeah. But primero con Kansas City. I don't want to get too emotional. I just
Not
like
any
really thought
more
ahead.
shout outs before
And
we
I
go.
do love.
Yes,
I
shout
do
out
love.
to Al Davis for this vision that he had a long time ago. I was gonna
And
get
I do
into
love.
it.
You were right before Carlos, or sorry, not Carlos. Javier, you said I love Carlos Salcedo. I do love Carlos Salcedo. He's my favorite player on the Mexican national team.
I know this guy so well.
Okay, Louis,
I know his
you're gonna go to Twitter jail for a second. Cut it out. It's not funny.
Mute him.
He's like-
Oh yeah, it is.
Let me mute
Yeah,
him.
it is. I gotta sneak it in when I can, Kari.
No. Ugh. But yeah, guys, don't forget to follow us on all social medias. Our social medias are on screen. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Lines In podcast, recapping a rainy Thursday matchup in Liga MX, previewing Leagues Cup. Louis, your mom said see you at the finals.
Yeah, if there is a final, I mean, there's gonna be a final either way. But if we're in it, that is.
Hopefully so. But yeah, guys, don't forget to follow us. Don't forget to subscribe, share with your friends, give us a like on Facebook, and we'll keep you guys updated about another short podcast, kind of recapping, hopefully a happy one, with what happened in this matchup and a little preview against Mazatlan as we're trying to rack up points on La Liga. Thank you and have a happy Monday night football. Don't forget to watch Atlas and Pachuca Liga MX.
I'm watching him right now.
0-0?
No, 1-0 Atlas. Good goal
Who
from
scored?
Forge.
Wow.
Forge.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're taking off. Javi, are you frozen? Oh,
I think he's frozen.
okay. He's gonna be frozen. Okay, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.